Hi guys, welcome to Magic Seed. Today we are going to discuss about one of the most important topics for the SSB aspirants, that is Coco Island. Now in the recent past we have seen that the news about Coco Island was floating in the media very frequently. Let's understand in detail why it was in news. First, let's understand about the geographical location of the Coco Islands. The Coco Islands are a small group of islands situated in the northeastern Bay of Bengal, consisting of five main islands, notably Great Coco Island and Little Coco Island. The Coco Islands are part of Myanmar. There is also a persistent rumor suggesting that India has gifted the Coco Islands to Burma. Now, Myanmar is historically inaccurate because control over these islands was transferred to British Burma by 1888, meaning they were never being part of sovereign territory of independent India to be unilaterally given away. Now let's understand how the geographical location of Coco Island is strategically important for India. Coco Island is surrounded by the vital military installations of India. If you see in the map, Balasore missile launch pad is just 1050 kilometers away. Then just below the Rambilli naval base is 1150 kilometers away, and it's a secret nuclear submarine base. Then the landfall island, which is the northern tip of the Andamans, is just 55 kilometers, and the Tri-Services Command is just 410 kilometers away from the Coco Island. The Malacca Strait is just 1300 kilometers away. Now let's understand why India is feeling the heat of being closer to the Coco Island. In the year 2023, a satellite imagery was released which confirmed that the construction of military-grade facilities, strongly suggesting the expansion of the signal intelligence capabilities potentially aided by China. There was also a 2,300-meter runway extension was found, which was particularly a cause of concern for India because the runway was not only used for the purpose of the fighters but also for the purpose of the transport aircraft. Now, the Chinese maritime reconnaissance platforms or aircraft such as Y-8GX Elite aircraft can easily land and take off from there. It means it can easily be able to monitor all the military installations of India from the top, which is transformation of the collection of signal signatures from the static post to the moving post, that is from the aircraft. It helps China to monitor all bases easily. And there was also two hangars were found, which is there for the parking aircraft, followed by a causeway which is connecting the runway with the smart jetty, and also barracks for approximately 1500 defense personnel. So when it was asked to the Myanmar government for joint naval inspection at Coco Island, they categorically refused it by telling that there was not even a single Chinese population is there. However, they are not ready to go for the joint inspection with the Indian Navy. That is again a cause of concern for India. Joint naval inspection. Let's understand what are the threats posed to India and its strategic bases. Let's understand. If you see in the map shown here, the Balasore missile testing range is just 1050 kilometers away, and it's in the line of the sight of the Coco Island. The Balasore base is used for testing Agni series missiles and submarine launched ballistic missiles. China, being present in the Coco Island, can capture the telemetry data of the missiles during the test fires and can analyze the data as well as develop advanced anti-missile system which is a threat to India. The presence of an intelligence post at Coco Islands could allow for the monitoring of radar emissions, radio frequencies, missile telemetry data, and crucially deep sea submarine communication traffic as these nuclear submarines exit the Rambilli naval base and move into the Bay of Bengal. If their precise movements, patrol routes, or communication signatures are compromised through persistent signal intelligence collections, the survivability of India's nuclear submarine fleet is fundamentally eroded, directly undermining the credibility of its nuclear deterrence posture. Now let's understand the strategic threat to the Andaman Islands. The Great Coco Island is approximately 55 kilometers away north of India's landfall island, the northern tip of the Indian Andaman chain. This short distance places the Indian Tri-Services Command headquarters at Port Blair and all northern Andaman bases within the immediate surveillance range. The Andaman Nicobar Islands has been aggressively developed into India's first Tri-Services Territorial Command, equipped with enhanced anti-access and sea denial capabilities specifically designed to deter rival powers. Thus, any foreign intelligence facility on Coco Island, despite its value, is highly vulnerable to conventional Indian military counter potential. As we all know that the Strait of Malacca is one of the world's busiest maritime choke points, essential for global trade and particularly vital for China, as approximately 80% of its oil imports transit the Indian Ocean region via this route. The location of Coco Island allows monitoring and potential control over the sea lines of communications as well as the northeastern part of the Indian Ocean. By enhancing intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance at Coco Island, China improves its ability to monitor Indian naval activity near Malacca, potentially forecasting and preempting blockade efforts in a crisis scenario. Now let's understand how the position of Coco Island will strengthen the string of pearls strategy. If you see in the map, the string starts from Djibouti to Gwadar in Pakistan, Hambantota in Sri Lanka, Coco Island, and a radar setup in Cambodia. This potential network creates a formidable integrated maritime surveillance and intelligence footprint covering nearly the entire northern Indian Ocean, allowing for early warning and coordination of Chinese naval ISR assets. And how India is going to counter these threats. The first and most direct countermeasure involves transforming the Andaman and Nicobar Islands into an unassailable strategic outpost. India is aggressively developing the Andaman and Nicobar Command into a credible sea denial command, rapidly upgrading airfields, jetties, logistics centers, and surveillance infrastructure. This involves deploying enhanced anti-access capabilities and advanced sea denial assets to ensure deterrence in the eastern Indian Ocean region. The Great Nicobar, located just 40 nautical miles from the Strait of Malacca, serves as India's definitive strategic forward counter base. There is a mega infrastructure plan estimated at $8.5 billion aims to transform the southern tip of the island into a major dual-use economic and military hub. The Great Nicobar project includes International Container Transshipment Terminal, Greenfield International Airport, which enhancing connectivity and military air surveillance capacity. Two naval bases are expanded and upgraded at INS Bas and INS Kohasa. And another measure is to collaborate with the Quad. The vastness of Indian Ocean region precludes any single nation from effectively policing it unilaterally. Therefore, India's strategy involves leveraging deep military and logistic partnership with like-minded countries, particularly the Quad. A crucial element of this collaborative effort is the cooperative use of respective island territories, specifically India's Andaman and Nicobar Island and Australia's Coco Scaling Islands, which is shortly known as CKI. The CKI are strategically located near the Indonesian choke points of Sunda, Lombok, and Ombai Vitar, which are alternate entry and exit points between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Recent groundbreaking visit by Indian Navy Dornier maritime patrol aircraft and C-130 Hercules transport aircraft to CKI confirm its utilization as a staging point for coordinated maritime surveillance missions. The collaboration ensures joint maritime domain awareness across all strategic choke points linking the two oceans. By leveraging CKI, India and its partners effectively mitigate the local surveillance capabilities of the China-Myanmar network. This reliance on third-party access significantly amplifies India's surveillance range without requiring resource-intensive, permanent unilateral deployments, transforming the local security problem posed by Coco Island into a collective, multilateral, regional challenge. Another countermeasure is to build an alternate route to Siliguri corridor. India's strategic outlook requires not only military strength but also guaranteed regional connectivity, exemplified by the Kaladan Multimodal Transit Transport Project. This ambitious initiative aims to connect Kolkata to Mizoram via the combination of sea travel to Myanmar's Sitwe port, then the river transport up to the Kaladan River to the Paletwa, then finally road transport to the Mizoram. The project provides a crucial alternative route to the vulnerable 22-kilometer wide Siliguri corridor, that is Chicken Neck, and strengthens India's economic and strategic hold on its northeast. However, the Kaladan project faces substantial delays with the final road link expected to be fully operational only by 27, that is 2027, due to the ongoing civil war in Myanmar. The operational integrity of the entire project hinges on the security situation in Rakhine State and Chin State. The Arakan army, which has gained control of the significant territory in these states, holds the key to the project's success as no progress is possible without their cooperation. This environment necessitates a nuanced and difficult diplomacy to secure its infrastructure, investments, and counter China's successful hedging strategy, which involves engaging both the junta and Arakan armies. India must adopt a pragmatic approach that expands engagement to include influential ethnic armed groups like Arakan Army. To conclude the discussions, the developments on Myanmar's Coco Island mark a significant shift in the strategic landscape of the northeastern Indian Ocean. What was once a theoretical string of pearls is now becoming an operational reality, giving China a direct line of reconnaissance over India's eastern approaches and its strategic assets. India's response, therefore, must be both strategic and multidimensional. Through the Great Nicobar project, New Delhi is reinforcing its own maritime footprint and extending its surveillance reach across key sea lanes. At the same time, India is pursuing a coalition-based approach, deepening cooperation with partners such as Australia, Japan, and the United States under the Quad framework. This network maritime domain awareness effectively offsets China's intelligence advantage from Coco Island. However, the success of India's counter-strategy will ultimately depend on the speed and the diplomacy, the timely operationalization of Great Nicobar's infrastructure, and the great management of regional relationships, especially with ASEAN and the littoral states of the Bay of Bengal. In essence, the contest around Coco Island is not just about one facility, it's about who shaped the future security architecture of the Eastern Indian Ocean. For India, this is both a challenge and an opportunity to emerge as a principal stabilizing force in its maritime neighborhood. In the SSB, there is a lecturer for 3 minutes in the group testing exercise. It will be challenging for one if he is not clear about how to concise the topic and speak. So here is a template for you through which we can plan and then practice. There is also a GD exercise in the SSB group testing. You may try out on this topic with your team or with your friends. There are possible questions which may be presented to you for discussion during the interview process. So be prepared. Okay, thank you friends. That's all for today. Let's meet in the next video.